21st century belongs to Africa, and it's time to shed the light on challenges and achievements which the continent is facing. Now, this is the message that Lumières d'Afrique is sending through, where 54 artists from 54 countries will, of course, showcase their creativity under this inspirational theme of Africa of enlightenment. Now, it's not only about creativity, but also a time for Africa to think about its future and also where it sees itself. But interestingly, the exhibition has been traveling the continent since 2015, and finally it's right here at the Standard Bank Art Gallery, and we are here to see some of the artwork that's on display. So over the next 30 minutes, come join me as we explore the art gallery and also look at other news and views from across the continent of Africa. So Jambo, Tumelo, Sawubona. I am Tumelo Mototwane, and this is #Africa. Pablo Picasso once said that everything you can imagine is real. Well, real, like the issues being faced by the African continent around development. But artists are changing that narrative one stroke at a time. Held in one of South Africa's biggest cities, Johannesburg, Lumières d'Afrique presented 54 unique artworks from 54 artists across the African continent. The exhibition, based on the idea that the 21st century belongs to Africa, also reflects on the challenges facing the development of the continent. Standard Bank Gallery manager and curator Dr. Samim Mdluli says the exhibition was a call to highlight Africa's problems.
The exhibition, as you rightly pointed out, is titled Lumières d'Afrique, which translates directly as Africa's Lights. And really how the exhibition or the collection came about was through an organization called African Artists for Development. They commissioned one artist from each of the 54 African countries to create an artwork in response to the notion or the idea of light, but more so around the question of access to energy and light.
And as the continent with the world's fastest growing population, Africa is the least electrified continent.
Access to energy, that this is gradually and more increasingly becoming a need, right? A basic need for people to have access to energy, because of course without energy, without light, progress and development is kind of hampered.
Dr. Mdluli says most of the work is giving an idea of what is happening in the continent.
Some of the works that resonates, especially with the theme, but more so also I think around giving us an idea of what is happening in the continent, whether it's through contemporary African art, but also through the kind of issues that it's highlighting. This work here that we're standing in front of by Cyprus, he's an artist from Kenya who's a very successful contemporary artist at the moment. Again, using the bicycle, but also to look at, there's different little things and objects that speak to his hometown, right? So where he is from. So Kenya, for example, the sieve here. Of course, Kenya is a big tea drinking, and they produce tea. So there's certain aspects in the artwork that speak about the location from which it's from.
The exhibition, under the theme of the Light of Africa, has been touring globally for the past 5 years.
One of the things that this exhibition also highlights is the fact that artists are the light of Africa. So they've always been at the forefront of making us aware or even highlighting some important issues. And they do so without having to be explicit or even politically, right? They do so by asking us to think a little bit about what we're looking at, but also bearing in mind that each person brings a different interpretation to what they're looking at.
The Light of Africa is now on show until the 9th of April at the Central Business District of Johannesburg, South Africa. Well, speaking of energy, let's take a trip to Nigeria now, where one inventor is doing his bit for a cleaner environment. Now, he has created a generator which is powered by water, all in a lab in his backyard.
Emeka Okuze from Nigeria's southeastern state of Anambra began experimenting with metal and creating simple lighting and sound systems at the age of 5. The 25-year-old, who started off as an automobile engineer but trained further, in metallurgy at a technical college, is looking for ways to create safer power generating systems. His latest invention at his workshop in Auka is a prototype of a generator powered by water.
I actually lost a friend to a generator, which actually brought about this, because I wanted to do something that can eliminate the use of gasoline generators in the society. So I'm actually an advocate of clean energy and waste management.
Powered by high-voltage motorcycle batteries with no carbon emissions, the generator is able to produce electricity that can last for over 6 hours, depending on the energy consumption rates of the units connected to it. Emeka says all these inventions are made possible through donations of components from friends, family, and even strangers.
I usually source my raw materials from waste bins. In fact, I go and get discarded electronic components. At some point, friends do a lot of donation. Like people, you see what I do, just love what I create. They just, okay, take this, use it to get this at the end of the day. So as things grows on, they keep on happening that way, even from social media. People have not even known it, tend to donate some money just to make sure that the dream doesn't die off.
Chika Egba, Emeka's neighbor, has been using the hydroelectric generator for over a year.
It's very, very excellent. I'm even begging him to, sell for me, but he said that it's not possible now. I'm even waiting for any time that he has produced it on going to the market. That is must. I must even purchase like 5 for myself and my family.
Emeka has received backlash on his invention, but the engineer is not looking back.
People think that, even some actually tend to dispute that what I'm actually doing is not sustainable, or it doesn't work, or it's a lie, I'm trying to connote something. But at the end of the day, you end up seeing that it's actually real. I'm not saying that we arrived there yet. It still has its own flaws.
Emeka has now created over 12 machines that he hopes will solve problems across the environment, health, and industrial sectors.
The saying goes, waste not, want not, and a Tunisian artist is taking that exactly to heart. Now, he's created an elaborate sculpture using chains, screws, and wires, and he's earned himself the title of the King of Steel.
Using metal pieces discarded by mechanics who are usually happy to give them out for free, and recycled pieces from old cars and bikes, this Tunisian blacksmith turns all of these into works of steel art. He first cleans the metal pieces and welds them together to create his artwork, before giving them a final colorful splash.
كل القطايع هذه تاع الميكانيك ما عادش استعمالها تاع الدراجات النارية، فهمت؟ وفما قطايع تاع الميكانيك تاع المحرك تاع السيارة، حتى هو القطايع اللي ما عادش مستعملة نولي أنا نستعمل فيها، نعمل لها عملية نغسلها، وثم بعد نعملها نخدمها تحف فريدة من نوعها، نخرج بها حاجات مجسمات حيوانية، نخرجوا بها مجسمات تاع إنسان، روس، صور، لوحات، فهمت؟ ساعات نستعملها حتى قطعة آلة نخدم بها في الورشة تاعي.
His pieces range between $35,000 and $5,000, depending on the size of each piece.
عندي كليونات يجوني بالذمة يهووا الحاجة هذه ويعشقوها ويعرفوها فن فريد من نوعه، يحطوا فيها في الجردة، فما يحطوا فيها في الصالون. فهمت؟ عندي حاجات كادوات تاع سواح يجي باش يهز قطعة تاع 2 كيلو 3 كيلو في الفاليج، فهمت؟ كيما تشوفها كبيرة نشخصها له صغيرة. الطلبية اللي يحبوا عليها هم الشكل اللي يحبوا عليه، المجسم اللي موجود.
Terry Falmi, a regular customer of Mohammed, describes him as an over-the-top artist.
Souvent à Mohamed, des sculptures, certaines qu'il a créées, d'autres que je lui fais fabriquer avec des plans. Ça fait 5 ans que je travaille avec Mohamed. Voilà. Et c'est un artiste. On l'appelle l'artiste fou, mais il est très doué. Il fait beaucoup de choses très intéressantes.
His fame has extended well beyond his small town, with customers from Germany, France, Italy and Belgium coming to his workshop to buy gifts.
Ethiopia's plans to become Africa's biggest power supplier could be placed on hold. We'll give you those details when #Africa returns.